Hello and welcome to another of my video podcasts. Today I'm going to tackle the thorny subject of weight loss, because suddenly obesity is what the government is looking at, and probably in the nick of time, one might say. Certainly people who have been obese and have had COVID-19 have not done nearly as well as people who are of a normal weight. And also there's so much diabetes type 2 in this country, heart disease, stroke, dementia, various forms of cancer, 13 in all, are directly linked to people being overweight. So it's in all our interests to maintain a healthy weight and not get overweight. Today, I noticed in the news there's some talk about bikes being prescribed on the NHS. I will not hold my breath to see if that happens, but it'd be very good if it did. So, what is seriously overweight? What sort of figure do you need to look at and think, well, I'm okay, or I'm seriously not okay? There's been a lot of talk in the papers this week about BMI, body mass index, but many experts nowadays say a very much simpler way to calculate this for yourself about whether you are really getting into the morbidly obese kind of range is this. If you're a man, you should measure round the waist no more than 94 centimetres, that's 37 inches. If you're a woman, you should measure round the waist not more than 80 centimetres, which is 31.5 inches. Above that, doctors would reckon that you are very likely to get serious illness as a consequence. And of course, don't forget, it's not just not just cancers and diabetes, but you're putting a lot of stress and strain on your body, so you're into hip replacement, knee replacement territory. So please file away those numbers. Dieting is all very well. All diets work if basically you stick to them. But whether they work long term is another question entirely, because food is a very emotional issue. Essentially, you've got to, in life, if you want to lose weight, take in through food less energy than you are using. That sounds simple. Of course, food is a big, complex issue, so it's not as simple as that. But that is the bottom line. My suggestion is, at the moment, that you don't necessarily go on a diet, although I know several people that have suddenly this week more or less gone, right, I'm going to put an app on my phone and I'm going to really take control of it. And if you want to do that, do, because clearly when we do take control, we feel better. My suggestion, though, is you're going to think now about a long-term plan for how you could eat in a way that would make you fitter, less tired, feel younger. And I think the best way to do that is to get really interested in nutrition. I mean, I find it fascinating. The more I learn, the more I want to learn. So what I think is a good way to start is, for 1 week, write down absolutely everything that you put into your mouth that is food. And that's a bit of a chore, you might say, but this is sort of reconnaissance, which is rarely wasted. So you will learn a lot about how much you're eating that is not just for fuel or because you're hungry, but you'll see that you have a pattern of eating perhaps in the evenings or something like that. Just write down everything with a time against it, and at the end of the week, give an assessment to yourself of, well, what does this mean exactly? Secondly, I heartily suggest that you investigate protein. So many diets, really, particularly if you eat on the go, which a lot of us do, they're very carb-rich and protein-poor. And basically, carbs might fill us up, but they don't give us sustained energy. And it's really important to have enough protein. And the figure that you want to bear in mind here is every one of us needs 0.8 grams of protein daily per kilogram of our own weight. To make this a little bit more user-friendly, if you are 9 stone, which is 58 kilograms if you're thinking in metric, you need a basic 46 grams of protein a day. Now, you might think, oh, protein, aren't they rather airy-fairy things? They don't fill you up like carbohydrates do. Well, this isn't entirely true, because they are long-term, slow-release energy, and also there are things that are quite filling, like beans, for example, that are high in protein. So why don't you investigate it? Because when you are operating from a position of informed knowledge, it's far easier to change your habits. I personally swear by porridge. I always start the day with porridge, which has got no fat in it. Obviously, you might add it in terms of some sort of syrup or something like that. But I actually have mine with salt, which is the old-fashioned Scottish way. I always start the day with that. It's a slow release of energy. It sets me up for the day. Sometimes I have it for supper as well, but then I'm a very boring person. But if you can get on top of all of this yourself and find it fascinating, I think you can then reframe how you think about food and think about it in terms of what it will deliver to you that will help you to feel healthier and to live longer. I'd like to recommend this book if you're pre-diabetic or diabetic, The Diabetes Revolution by Dr. Charles Clark. I find this absolutely invaluable. I've recommended it to so many people. I have got a podcast, number 4 it was, on comfort eating, if you want to look at that. I've just skated through this now. I mean, weight loss is a huge topic. If you're interested, and if you want me to return to this and be more specific about certain areas of weight loss and certain diets, I'm very happy to do it, but just let me know. Meanwhile, happy eating and good health.